Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. I am your host, Alex Silva. This is episode 4 of the podcast. Thank you so much for continuing to listen, to support, to hopefully have fun with me on this podcast and on this journey that I am now. We are no longer in the trilogy territory. We have now moved on to episode 4, continuing the saga. I hope that we can have a great time today. Hopefully that we can have some fun. Share some news stories, some updates, some things that are occurring, and hopefully we can have some fun with it. Hopefully that we don't have to get into some nitty-gritty. Maybe, I have some stuff lined up. Maybe that'll get into some nitty-gritty stuff, but hopefully we don't get too far into it. Hopefully we stay on the fun course. Hopefully that we just, we're in here for the ride. We're all in here for the ride, and let's just go, man. Let's go. A good week, good day, good few days, this last few days, week, whatever. I hope everybody's feeling good. Hopefully everybody's feeling positive. Hopefully everybody's feeling happy. Hopefully that everybody can, enjoy their life that they're doing, enjoy what's ahead of them, what they have to look forward to, what you guys are, pursuing in life. Hopefully that everybody out there that listens to this and beyond is just having a good day and a good time. Hopefully, this week was pretty fun. I, decided that, we decided that we wanted to go out to dinner again, to celebrate a birthday, have some fun. We went to the Outback, not actually Australia, but the restaurant, the Outback, a steakhouse, pretty good. And I mentioned last week's episode that we also went out. The previous week we went out to a seafood place. It was very delicious, very good. But this time we shook it up a bit and went to the Outback. Not just seafood, but steak and seafood. So now that you're getting, surf and turf, the best of both worlds, you can have good time, steak, lobster, whatever you wanted to get. And we were just having some fun, outdoor dining, whatever, having a good time. And this time it was funny because the last time we ate out, I was new to the experience again. It was a new thing. It was like, remember how to do this? Not really. Let's just go for it. But after I was there, I was a little bit timid about like what I would order, what I would eat, and all that. If I could even finish all the food and all that. No, not really. But like what I was gonna get. And at the Outback, it's a little bit more, even though it is more of like an Australian cuisine, it's not like a super far-fetched menu where you have to like, you're bargaining your money's worth and what you're going to get. It's not like something like, I'm taking a risk here of what I'm ordering or what I'm going to get. I've never had this before. Usually if you go to Outback, it's pretty a well-known menu. It's a steakhouse, seafood, and it's, if you don't like seafood, you can always get like steaks. They also have burgers and all that, chicken fingers if you want to be a little bit more, have some fun with it, maybe not want to spend a whole lot of money. It's good for that too. And so we go there and we decide to get 2 appetizers because, why not? Feeling it, feeling the vibe, having some fun, doing that stuff. And one of the appetizers was French fries, and not just any French fries, by the way. These were I think they were called the cheesy Aussie fries or something like that. Something like cheesy Australian fries or whatever. They were just like cheese fries, basically. And those were really, really good. I mean, those were like it's really hard to go to a restaurant and have like actually good tasting fries. You know what I mean? Like all the toppings on them are pretty good, but like it all, like I want to know if the fries that you serve are good, and these fries were really good. Like they had good flavor. They weren't too hard or too soft. They were just like perfect fries. They tasted very good, and I was letting myself loose at that point. And if you know me, when I see food, or when I see good food, bad food is different. Bad food I wouldn't really be, I don't think anybody would be so excited to eat bad food or to eat like subpar food, like you possibly would have maybe avoid it. Or, you go to a family dining area or event or whatever, and the food ain't all that great, right? And you try to avoid it, but without being rude, because you don't want to be like an asshole, or you don't want to be this guy who's like, hey, why aren't you eating the food? Oh, and you don't want to be the person to say it's not that good or it isn't good food. You don't want to be that. If you're that guy, then you're being a little disrespectful. And I'm usually not the type of person to do that outright like that if I don't know them. If I know them and I know that they're capable of making good food and they bring me shit, maybe. But, most of the time I wouldn't do that. And most of the time I'm usually around some good food, so I don't have to criticize about the food. But anyway, this was a really good food, good fries. And by the way, this was just an appetizer. These were just appetizers. We got these cheesy Aussie fries and this coconut shrimp deal. All right, so we get spuds and shrimps, and it's a big plate. And then the waitress or the waiter brings over these appetizer size plates, like these little baby plates where you can just put like a little bit of a appetizer on there and, serve the family, serve the party or whoever is there, right? We have a good time. We're enjoying ourselves. And all of a sudden I notice that I go for the fries with my hands because they're French fries, right? I'm not going to get I don't know, like if we're sitting together as a family and there's French fries and my instinct is to just grab them with my hands, put them on my plate, and eat them, like a person. All of a sudden, I see my family reach for the fries with their forks. And I'm just thinking, like, what? Huh? Like, I understand that we're at a restaurant, but these are fries. They're literally meant to be eaten with your hands. Why are you picking them up with a fork and getting them on your plate with your fork? That just seems so odd to me. I was just like, wait, what are you doing? Like, are you even enjoying yourself? Are you trying to be so proper and classy? And over here, me, I'm just eating them with my hands, picking them up with my hands. Like, you know what? I understand that the wanting to look nice and wanting to be clean and wanting to have so long, quote unquote, manners, okay, whatever, at the table. But you know what? People aren't going to go there to a restaurant and judge people the way they eat French fries. I don't see that people would do that. So why are you pretending that people are going to be like looking at you like, oh, look at this guy's eating his fries with his hands. Oh, he's getting the fries with his hands off the plate. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? I never would have thought of getting them with my freaking fork, putting them on my plate like that. That just seemed like a little bit of a, you're trying a bit much. And I was the only one doing it with my hands. So I was like, wait a minute, is this really like that bad? Am I really like embarrassing you? I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. But they're like, Alex, what are you doing? Why are you getting it with your hands? I'm like, they're French fries. What am I supposed to do? Eat them with my fork? They're like, no, you get them with the fork, put them on your plate, and then you eat them with your hands. I'm like, that's so much business, man. That's too many steps. Just get them off the plate and eat them. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that serious. It's not like I'm a menace to society. I'm crumbling society as we speak. I'm like just this person that doesn't care about society or manners. No, I do. But I feel like if they're French fries, you are already in the realm of willingness, and people should understand that you can eat them with your hands. It doesn't seem like it's a big thing to not do that. I feel like if you don't eat them with your hands or you don't get them with your hands, you're kind of you're pretending like this is some kind of super fancy appetizer when it's just fries. Guys, like that's all it is. It's just fries. It's not like it's like caviar or calamari or like I don't know something super fancy like an appetizer would be. It's just French fries with cheese on them. It's like one of the most like visually appealing, least fancy appetizers you can possibly ask for, but yet so delicious. So like, what's the point there? I don't understand that. But I mean, I caused a bit of an outrage, I guess, with my family, but they know how I eat. They know that I'm a passionate eater, and a lot of people like will see me at a restaurant or they'll see me. Just anywhere, like if I'm at a table or a place where there's food and the food is delicious and it's perfect food and it's just like some of the best food I've ever tasted, whatever. It's delicious, good food, right? Any good food that is in front of me, I'm going to devour with absolute passion. Like with like my life is like I am like dying of hunger, and I'm going to eat this food so passionately that I don't care what anybody thinks, what they say about me. I legitimately don't like care about that. If I'm eating food and like I'm around people, you need to let me eat the food the way I eat food. Just do that. Like, you can say anything else about what I'm wearing, how I smell, what I dress like, what I look like, whatever. But you cannot tell you can't come to me and say, "Why are you eating like that?" I'm like, "I'm eating food. What do you want me to do?" Eating food is not a pretty activity. It's not a pretty sight. You shovel stuff in your mouth, you chew it, you swallow. You're gonna get some stuff on your face, your fingers, your cheeks, your chin, whatever. It's not supposed to be a very desirable, lookable activity that you do. It's just not that. So why am I gonna make it look like I need to eat so cleanly and so slow and so that I'm not even enjoying the food, that I cannot enjoy it if I'm eating that way? I don't understand why anybody would want me to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like with like everything. Like, if I'm using a fork and a knife, it's a bit different, right? You gotta say if I'm eating a steak, I'm gonna eat it, pretty, like I said, with passion. But there's a limit to how the damage control that could get. You know what I mean? Because you're using a fork and a knife, you're not going to get so much on your hands or on your face, really, depending on what you're eating. It could be if it's like a super saucy food, maybe. But if it's like a steak that's like not really like, super, saucy or whatever, you're going to be fine. But if it's like fries that you eat with your hands, like I do, it might get a bit messy. But, that's why they have napkins there. Like, it's almost like people like use like their job when they go out to eat is to never touch the napkin. They want to be so freaking clean that they don't want to touch it or use it or wipe their face with it. They just want to like have it right there on their lap and not even be used. I feel like that's like it's almost like weird to think that people would want to go to a restaurant and it be their goal to not use the napkin or not use any napkin. Like, also another thing, like it's like if you go to a place like Buffalo Wild Wings or Wingstop or any place that serves wings primarily, and you go all out, right? You get the traditional wings, you get them with wet sauce, not dry sauce, or not a rub. And it's like you go in and you're hungry, and these wings are delicious. They taste so good. You're in the moment. You got the ranch, the blue cheese, whatever you got there, the celery. Got like 20 wings, a soda. I mean, there's no way anybody expects you to eat those like a damn prince, right? Like barely even getting any sauce on your face. There is no way anybody's gonna expect that. There's no way. If you expect that, then you've never eaten wings, like I have. You've never enjoyed the experience like I have. Because in order to completely enjoy the experience of wings, you got to get a little bit of it on your face. It's just what happens. I mean, you're going in for a bite, and it's like it's gonna touch the sides of your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen. So just let it happen. Have an enjoyment. Enjoying food is a pleasure. And that pleasure should not be suppressed by the feeling of, oh, what am I going to look like when I eat? I'm going to look so gross when I eat. Well, everybody does. It's eating. You're putting food in your mouth and you're chewing and swallowing it. You're going to look bad. You're going to look gross. Embrace it. Please. Like, it just kills me, the fact that people, especially me, man, it's just like, you know how I eat. You know what I do. Why are you still critiquing me how I eat? I don't critique you how you eat. Maybe I'll say like, oh, you're too clean you're eating wings and you have like no sauce on you. Are you even enjoying your wings? Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe. But you're outright saying like, oh, why am I with you? What are you doing? Why are you eating like that? What's wrong with you? It's like, bro, I'm eating my food. Calm down. You'll live. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. But like, yeah, that just kind of, it's always been like that. It's always happened to me. It's always been like that. I don't know why I do that though. Like, I guess because like I was always like, like, since I love food so much, I feel like it's the best way to appreciate the food that you eat is to eat it with passion, because so much went into the creation of the food, went into the preparation, the cooking of the food. The whether it be a steak or a burger or a pizza, wings, whatever, a lot of stuff went into that, and then you paid for it. So you're paying your money. If I'm paying my money for a restaurant experience, I'm gonna freaking take advantage of that. I'm gonna be not necessarily a messy, like a super messy guy and leave like trash all over the table or whatever. No, I don't do that, but I do eat pretty like with vigor, with gusto, with reason, with passion. So I just like feel like that's what I've always been like, not raised on, but like, I've always kind of just adapted that, like, to be like, that's how I'm gonna eat food, because I love food so much, so I'm gonna eat like I love it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to show people that I mean business when I eat, because if I'm not meaning business when I eat, and I care about it, then I'm sort of a fraud about it, because I'm not really taking advantage of, like, or showing that I care about the food. I want to show people, or show the cook or whatever, show the waitress. I always feel like, when if I've been complimented on, like, or like asked, like, so how's the food, and they'll see how I eat, and I will great outly say, with full of food in my mouth, delicious, it's so good, it's whatever, I'll say that, and then I'll get laughs at, like, what are you doing, why would you do that, like, you look like a fool. Like, I don't care, bro. I really don't care. I'm just eating here. I love, I do. The best way to show that the food is good, I feel like, is to just clean your plate and say, if they ask you how the food is, you said amazing or good. Don't like be like, I don't think anybody, either way would say like the food isn't good, really. Like, if you're in that situation with the waiter or the waitress, and then they ask, like, how's the food, I don't think that anybody would say like it wasn't good or it was okay, because that is like a thing, like, because, like, why would you order it then, or why would you do that, this or that. I just don't think that a lot of people, like, besides like a food critic, would have the balls to do, like, say like, oh, it was fine, it was okay. I just don't want, I don't think you would want to be in that kind of interaction with the waiter, like an unhappy waiter, or not unhappy customer, say to the waiter that the food wasn't that good. That would be like a really awkward conversation. That would be like something that, I guess you would have to lie about that, right? I mean, you would have to. Like, me personally, it'd be tough, because I usually don't like, I haven't had a lot of bad food at a restaurant, like, it's not like, when I get a good meal and I know it's good, I clean my plate and whatever. But if I get a bad meal and I don't clean my plate and I don't finish it, and then the waiter just picks it up and says, all right, here's your bill, take care, bye. I've been lucky enough to not get that experience, because, like, I think that they can pick up on the vibes of the table, and, like, say like, okay, maybe I shouldn't ask this person how the food was. I don't want to get a bad response. I don't want to get a bad I don't want to get like, hey, who cooked that, or why would this was bad. Tell the chef that this was bad. I wouldn't want that. I would want to be like, I want to be the bringer of good news, not bad news. So thankfully, I've never been in that position to do that, because I don't think I would be able to. I think I'd be able to come to myself and say, oh, the food was bad. You know what I mean? I don't think that it would be like really appropriate. Really, it'd be pretty rude. I'm just thankful that I haven't been in that situation, or have seen like a situation like that get like out of hand, or like spiral out of control because of a comment on the chef's food, or even a waiter service. I wouldn't say like, I don't think like a lot of waiters would go around and say, oh, how am I doing, really, unless they're like training people, or they're new, or they are doing this for the first time. They're like, oh, how am I doing? And then what would you say in that case? Like you would say you're doing good, you're doing great, you're fine, don't worry about it. But then it's like, what if they're doing a bad job? What are you gonna say? You've never waited tables before. You work in an office. You do this. You work in a factory, a warehouse, whatever. You never experienced how to do table service, customer service, whatever. What are you gonna say? Oh, you could do this a little bit better. You can do that better. It's like, shut up. Why would you? Like, you are in no position to say that. Like, because I mean, I guess you kind of are, you're the customer, so you're always right. But it's just like, God, maybe you're just not in the position to say it to that person because that they're starting out. It's a new thing to them. You know, I just think that if that also happens at a restaurant and that is like being brought up and that is like being like said, I think that it would just be better if you just didn't say anything. Or if you just said, maybe lie to them. I mean, like saying, if they're really not that good, and okay, maybe it's like if they acknowledge that they're not very good, like, I did pretty bad today, then you would say, yeah, you weren't that bad, man. Like, maybe you could be like that. Maybe like that, because that kind of shows them that there's always there's room for improvement, that they did something well, other things not so well, and then they can get better. You know what I mean? Like that. And like, I'm for one always usually like really friendly to waiters and waitresses, because, well, for one, they're serving me food. I mean, thank God bless you for that. But I've always been like a bit of a person to want to engage in their, I don't know, their lives. I know that they're there to work and all that, but I feel like it's just like I brighten their day up a little bit more if I try to get a little bit of insight on their lives, or a little like kind of be nicer to them, kind of be like, oh, hey, how's it doing? Or thank you, sir, or thank you, ma'am, or thank you, their name, even their name sometimes. Why not? I mean, like, I feel like sometimes that their job is so dull, so boring, and yet at the same time very, very difficult, that my little interaction would be like a little bit of a change of pace in a way. Like they would see like, be a little bit nicer, be a little bit more concerning, be a little bit more, actually interested in what they do, and make them feel like they have a purpose, and make them feel that they're actually making me happy when they bring me their food. Make me feel like they're doing a good job, by acknowledging that they're a good job and saying, hey, nice job, or thank you for the food, or just like, giving a good tip, maybe a good tip, maybe some small talk. I've always been about that. I think that's what I did it for a while, and then I kind of stopped doing it because usually my brother would be like, why you do that? Like, I like doing it. I don't know. I hope it's not like super awkward or a big burden to do it, because I don't know. I enjoy doing it. I feel like I'm brightening your day, giving it a little bit of a nice sunspot, a little bit of a nice, sunshine, sun grays, whatever, a nice awakening. Hopefully make your day a little bit better. That's all I'm trying to do here, That's all I'm trying to do. Because I feel like there is a lot of time that we do work, job, school, whatever, and that we're not really smiling all that much. You know what I mean? So I feel like the more, if I could produce a smile for somebody, like a waiter or a waitress or a bartender, whatever, if I can make them smile, or like be a little bit happy, or be a little pep in their step, and then I think I've done a good job. I think I've done like a balance that out of society, where I am paying for their service and enjoying their service, but on the way I'm giving you a little bit of a smile, encouragement, hopefully brightening your day. I just feel like that's a big thing to do nowadays, like if you have the chance, because it could go a long way. It could really go a long way, because I think that a lot of people, they're down today. These days are pretty dark. They're pretty down. They're pretty uneventful, really. I mean, like, I don't have to tell you why, you already know, but like, people today could use a little bit of a smile. something to make them laugh, maybe something to make them um, love their life, love their family, love people, love everything. I just feel like it's very well needed at this time, and I feel like why not try to do that? I don't know. That's just me though. Anyway, that was a little bit of a insight to what I think about dining out and having some fun and just eating out, and hopefully that I can. Yeah, I don't want to make you feel awkward. I don't want to make you feel weird. I just want to, and I usually when I do it, I hope I make it very clearly that I'm not trying to make you feel weird or awkward or stand out too much. I just do it to just have a little bit of fun, because that just brings a smile to my face, and I hope it does to you. Let's talk a little bit about some movie news. I haven't done that in a while. It's usually been about Luigi guys or sports. That'll be coming, but let's move on to some movie stuff. It was announced, I think yesterday, I believe, that Mission Impossible 7 and A Quiet Place 2 will be on Paramount Plus, which is the new CBS Viacom streaming service, Paramount Plus. And those movies will be on Paramount Plus 45 days after a theatrical run, whenever they come out this year. And I for one, want the theaters to open up. I think they need to, because I went to a theater to see Tenet back in June, I think. No, it wasn't June. Maybe August. August or September, I think. I can't remember which one it was, but we went to see Tenet, and I gotta say, it was probably safer watching a movie in a big theater with spread out seating. Probably safer than going to the grocery store. Yeah, probably safer, because even though that you're in a space like that, you aren't like moving around and like getting in people's faces, or cutting in front of lines, or like getting in like being all in a cramped aisle at a grocery store. It's nothing like that. I felt safer there than at the store. I just got to be honest with you. So, they are going to put these movies on Paramount Plus after 45 days in the theaters. And I just think that, okay, well, is that like an attempt to keep the theaters alive? I hope so, because it's better than I think what HBO Max is doing, which is putting them in theaters, which I don't know where at. My theaters are all closed, so I have no idea what's going on, where they're being played at. So, like, they're going to put them in the theaters as well as HBO Max on that same day. But the thing is, what was cool about it is that they did it with Wonder Woman 1984. They put it on the same day, but they kept it on HBO Max for only a month. So about 30 days of streaming ability, and then it was, boom, gone. So I think that's kind of what's keeping the theaters alive a bit, is like you get it on streaming for 30 days, which is a lot of time for people to just stream it on their TV at home. And then after that, it's gone. But I think that that's a sort of a good step, because they know that I think that a lot of people in today wouldn't want to go to a theater with their family, in the circumstances that are happening right now. But I feel like hopefully like this thing with the Paramount Plus, where it's like, all right, we're going to put these movies out for 45 days and then they'll be on Paramount Plus. But if it's me in that situation, I'm going to go watch them in the theater, because I've been to the theater. I know what it's like. It's very, very safe, actually. They tape up everything. They have like little footsteps of where you're supposed to stand. They do all that good stuff. They have hand sanitizer. They got all the good stuff there. So I don't understand why people are so afraid about them. I guess it's just because of the fear of the warrior or whatever. I get it. But hopefully what happens is that they don't fully kill the theater with these streaming. Because I go back and forth on this. I think that in a way that the HBO Max and the Paramount Plus on the streaming is going to eventually kill it, because if you have that, and I know that they they got some backlash from Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune, and other directors like Christopher Nolan, that like you put that option out there to for them to watch it on HBO Max the day of the release, they won't come back. And I kind of agree, because if you think about it, man, just the luxury, the no hassle, the no trouble of streaming a full on new movie that's going into theaters at your home on your couch. And I get it, the sound, the picture might not be as, as good as it is in the theater. At least the sound, I think it's not as good as a theater, but still, man, I think it's very, very hard to compete when you straight up have the new movie right there in front of you. Just to, boom, go on the couch and click it and watch a new movie right there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is just so, like, oh man, it's so inviting for people to want to watch a movie, more, even more so than going to the theater the day one. I mean, I for one would go see it in a theater day one, but like I would imagine that most people, in today's world, wouldn't mind it being on HBO Max or Paramount Plus. I totally agree. I see why people would want to not go out. You know what I mean? It's no trouble, no drive, no paying for tickets, no paying for snacks. You got all that at home, and you're seeing a new movie. I mean, look, think about how much a ticket cost today, or would cost today. I believe that Tenet, when we saw it, I think it was a matinee. I believe maybe it was like between $9 and like $10.50, I think, and that was just for one single ticket. That's just a ticket price, and then you go inside, and they still had snacks and concessions, so you can get that. And like, wow, like that, you add all that up for one person, could it be like, I don't know, $25 to $30 worth of spending on for then you go into the movie, and the movie might not even be all that good. You know what I mean? Like, so then there's this whole dilemma of thinking like, well, you know what? Does it look good? Or do you want to go see it in the theater, or do you just want to see it at home? You know what I mean? I think that when it opens up that door, and it's already been open for a while with Mulan, Wonder Woman, and more that I can't remember, but it's already being open. And now with HBO, it's going to be for Godzilla versus King Kong. That's going to be a big one that they're just going to HBO Max. I want to see it in the theater, but if I can't see it, then I'm done. I mean, I guess I'll go to HBO Max. You know what I mean? Like, but like, it's just like, that's got to be crippling the business in a way. Like the studios, like the reason that the filmmakers would want to make the movie is for you to see it. Number one, see it obviously any way you can, but to see it in the theater, to see it how it was like made to be. So like, when you hear that this option is out there about HBO Max, I can't help but wonder that you put that option out there. Maybe there's a bigger audience that want that to stay. What if nobody, okay, so after the pandemic, after all that, they take that off. There's no longer going to be same day release on HBO Max, right? They take that away. What if they start to see like dips and plummets of HBO Max subscriptions? Like, then what does HBO or Time Warner do then? Like, because they gave them such a good deal, again, in a bad time where people aren't going to go to the theaters all that much, but like, you take that away from them, like, what is that going to do? I don't see that I don't think people would, I don't think a lot of people would want to go out to the theater anymore, because they were already kind of like not wanting to go out to the theater, before the pandemic. I mean, I've had, some people that I know would rather pass on the theater experience and just, wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or Netflix or whatever. And like, I think that this opening, this opportunity for people to do it now on HBO Max is a big, it's bigger than we thought. Bigger, like, it's like you're feeding somebody something so good, you're giving them a great product, and then you immediately, when it's over, the pandemic is over, you take that away. Are they going to respond well to it? Are they going to say, no, okay, it's not on HBO Max, we'll go to the movie theater, we'll just go back to the old times? I don't know if people would want to do that. I don't know if people would want to be able to change what they've been doing for a while, where this situation benefits them so much more than the theater, driving there, doing all that stuff. I don't think I think that people would notice that. Like, wait, why would they take that away? It was so good. The theaters, I've enjoyed watching new movies at home. So I'm afraid that HBO Max might be in a little bit of a trouble if they decide to keep that, and if they decide, what if they're cornered by their consumers to keep that, and then they shut down, like, movie theaters obviously wouldn't get as much attention, not as much attendance. The customers won't come. People would be out of those jobs. It would be a big monopoly for Time Warner. Like, oh, we got all these, all these new movies are coming out, and they're all going to be on HBO Max. But then it's like, well, what are we going to do with the theaters? Like, well, they're not going to be there. Those big movies that we count on to drive in audiences that come out from Time Warner and Warner Brothers are going to be in the theater also. But you also have the ability to watch it at home. You would expect, I think, the numbers of those movies to drop a lot. Ticket sales. So they need to be careful with this, because if they go too far into this and they continue it after, I know all these 2021 releases are going to be on HBO Max. They said that, and the theater. But if they go beyond that 2022 and continue it, depending on how the world is, maybe they have to. But if it's not going to be bad like how it is, like, last summer or even now, right now it's on an uptick. It's looking pretty. We're looking better, at least the U.S. is. But, like, what happens like then? Are they gonna try to monopolize and, like, just say, like, F you? We don't need the legendary studios. We don't need Scott Free. We don't need all these studios. HBO Max can make all these movies. What happens then? What if they just drive out all those filmmakers who don't want to work for them? What are they gonna do? Like, I know they want to make movies and make money and all that, but, like, if there's no studio, then how are they gonna make it? They're gonna have to go through HBO Max. And a lot of people, like filmmakers that I've watched interviews on and I've seen, for instance, like a Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, they make their movies for the theater. They are very keen believers, and, like, passionate believers that the movies should be viewed on the big screen with the best sound and, like, the best picture that they can possibly get in a theater with people, so you can get their reactions and experience it with them and do all that. And that's what they, their core values are that. That's what they believe in. And I remember, like, when The Irishman came out, Martin Scorsese's latest film, it went straight to Netflix and in select theaters. I was looking for the theater releases because I wanted to see what he put on screen. Because Martin Scorsese's films are so big, they're grand in scope, they're fun, they're straight up great movies, entertaining, have a lot of energy in them, and I wanted to see that because I know that he's capable of making the movies for the big screen and also be critically acclaimed, great performances, great set design, whatever, great depiction of what he's trying to tell the story of. And I was just like, man, I watched it and I love the movie, but I was still, like, kind of a little bit sad that I didn't get to see it in the theater, because it was you could tell it was made for that. It was made for it, but I don't think they wanted it to be in the theaters because it was so long and people were like, oh, who's gonna buy the movie? Like, no, Netflix, they'll buy it. And then he was like, okay, fine, I'll let Netflix buy it, and they'll put it on their streaming service day one as long as with theaters. So I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of where we're going in a way, because, like, see, that's why another reason why I think that the theaters are in some way dying. They know that people will consume pretty much whatever they want or buy whatever they want with a click of a button or a click of a mouse or a tap on your screen. They'll buy it instantly. But if they have to go somewhere to watch it or consume it, they might hesitate a bit. You know what I mean? Like, they'll think about it. They might not. They might do it. They might not do it. It's a little bit more of a gamble. Whereas if you provide it at your home, it's almost like going to be like a clear yes, rather than maybe we'll see it or maybe we won't see it. It's less of a gamble when you have it on your home TV, I think, and that's just wow. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they're marketing toward our laziness in a way. It's like we're becoming like this society of being lazy now. It's like, there's obviously people who aren't lazy and want to keep doing these things, want to go to the theater, want to go buy things, but like also like you can't beat the convenience of never having to leave your home and to experience the entertainment that they're providing, like for instance the movies. So that's extremely hard to beat right there. You really, that's why I'm afraid, man. I'm afraid I think that they're digging themselves, not necessarily for them in a bad way, but like a way that we might not want to go back to how it was. We might not want to go back to theaters. We might not want to go back to, shelling money at a concession stand at a theater to just have like a little bit of popcorn. I just feel like there's so many other things that are against theaters now that it might be almost impossible for them to make a comeback, because just the way how people are adjusting to how movies are being delivered to them through HBO Max on the same day as their theatrical release. I mean, I don't know, man. I would go, but I don't know if everybody else will go. Let's talk a little bit about TV. Going back to Paramount Plus, it was in 2013, I believe. I believe it was 2013 when the Halo TV series was announced. Yeah. I believe that it was announced in 2013. I could be wrong about that. Let me just check that real quick. Because if you remember, like I did, Halo. Let me just give you a little bit of a background on Halo. Halo is a popular video game franchise produced by 343 Industries and Microsoft Game Studios. It's about, the epic conflict of the 26th century between humanity and the Covenant. And if you've played Halo, you know what Halo is. The Spartan 117, Master Chief, John 117, Cortana. You know how it is. Halo 1, 2, and 3, ODST, Reach, 4 and 5. And it's a big, sprawling world, a big, sprawling universe, so many lovable characters, so many memorable moments, great villains, great bad guys, great conflict to play as. And I believe it was in 2013 when it got announced, during the Xbox One panel. And this was way back in the day when the Xbox One was coming out. But I remember they announced it to be on Showtime, and that Steven Spielberg was going to produce it with his Amblin company, and then they were going to work with Microsoft and 343 to do it. And now it's supposed to be coming out in Q1 of 2022. So we're getting closer and closer, but I've seen nothing of it yet, really. And now they just announced that it was supposed to be on Showtime, but now it's going to go to Paramount Plus. And I'm thinking I was going to watch it on Showtime, but now I guess I got to buy Paramount Plus to watch it. So, I mean, I'm going to do it either way. I don't care about where, but I'm just saying that I was not planning to get Paramount Plus at all because nothing I saw really there was piquing my interest. I know that they have a lot of Nickelodeon things and a lot of Star Trek and a lot of other things like that. Live sports obviously might have gotten me, but it's gonna get me for Halo because I want to watch that show so badly, and I want to see. I hope it's good. I really, really hope it's good, because there is such a potential, I think, with making a Halo series, and making it doing it well. I think, because if we've had a couple Halo series already. I believe the first one that came out was with the release of Halo 4. It was called Halo Forward Unto Dawn, and it was a YouTube series or internet series that came on, and it was pretty low budget, but not the worst budget I've seen. The acting was pretty decent. It was a cool story, a cool concept. It was about you go on with this squadron of Marines in Halo, and you watch them train from cadets all the way to Marines, and then they meet Master Chief and all that, and like they rah 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 save the day. I think I've only seen it once when it came out. I think, but it looked okay. But it clearly not supposed to be like a big thing that would draw a lot of audiences, a lot of people. Obviously, the fans of the game, yeah, but like it wouldn't like be. It's not like a big commercially looking show or what have you. But it was decent for the time. Then they had Halo Nightfall, which was produced by Ridley Scott. I remember hearing about that. I never really saw it, and I heard that it was very, very bad. And then recently I looked it up and I saw, and I was like, wow, this is horrible. This is super bad. No wonder nobody liked it. And then now, supposed to be coming out in 2022, we got Halo by Paramount Plus. I hope this is good, man. I really do. I don't think it could fail, only because of how long it's been taking for them to do it. Remember, it was announced in like 2013 with the Xbox One. And like Steven Spielberg came out, and I was just like, wow, and at the time I was like, oh, a show, okay. Because I wasn't really into the mainstream TV nowadays, like all the shows on Netflix or HBO Max or Disney Plus, or the capabilities of television nowadays, the budgets that they can get on television shows now. I wasn't really into it. I didn't really watch any big shows like that. I didn't really know the power of like how well you can like tell like a story of characters or events through television. I was never really a TV guy, really. I thought it would have been a movie before a TV show because of the District 9 was supposed to be Halo, but then they canned that and went with District 9. So I was thinking, like, why would they just not like make a movie out of that? Like, I'm sure they have ideas, but nevertheless, they're doing a show, and I think that it done properly, done with love, done with care, I think that it would be good. I think that the sky is the limit, and like there's a lot of eyes on it. But I feel like that with the people that they have on it, and with what little has been shown on it, like literally nothing, like maybe a couple casting announcements, maybe a few set shots. The main actor who plays Master Chief in the show, Pablo Schreiber, posted a couple pictures of him on set on social media, but it's very little, like very, very little. So like you can't really tell anything. But I'm optimistic about it. I really want it to be good. I pray it's good, man. I can't seem to think that a show that's been in development and in the process of being shot during a pandemic. Obviously, they were shooting before the pandemic, but like, all the preparation, the going through directors and going through different actresses to play which parts and who's doing what. It's gonna be. This might be one of the most expensive shows that we've seen, maybe just because of how long that they took to develop it, how long that they took to weed out the problems. Now that they're shooting, and it's been so kept under wraps too. Like, we've heard nothing about it, really. No big things about it. We don't know how many episodes that there are of it. I just hope that it's good and that it delivers, because if it could be one of the top shows on TV when it comes out, I would be so joyous and so happy about that, because and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it and also skeptical about it and wanting it to be good and wanting it to be as best as it could. But man, I just want that show, man. I want it so badly. Hopefully it's good, man. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I don't think that anything that's going into development that's been people have been working on for like almost, gosh, when it's going to come out in 2022, almost 10 years since it was announced. Oh man, I don't think that they can afford for it to be bad. I really don't. Like, I really don't think that at least the CGI and the special effects will look good. I think they have to look good. They spent so much damn time on it, developing it. Like, man, if it's really bad and they're hiding it because they know it's bad, but they have to finish it, oh man, that would be the worst thing that could possibly happen. I really don't think that will be the case, but it's never out of the possibilities that it could happen. I just hope it's good. I really do. All right, let's move on to sports for the week. We're going to change it up a bit. We're not going to talk about football. We're going to talk about baseball. and what's happening in the MLB, the Major League Baseball. So this article came out a couple days ago, and it was on MLB.com by Mark Feinsand. And I'll just give you a little bit of what's going to happen, and then I'll read to you some graphs from the article. So MLB is going to slightly alter baseballs for the 2021 season. And what they plan for it to happen is that they want the baseballs to travel 1 to 2 feet shorter when the ball is being hit for 375 feet. So now let me read you some of the article. After the league saw a record 6,776 homers hit in 2019, by the way, that was the last game that they played 162 games before the pandemic, the home run rate fell from 6.6% of plate appearances in 2019 to 6.5% during the pandemic-shortened 2020 campaign. Following the 2019 season, a committee of scientists commissioned by the MLB to determine that the baseballs had less drag on average than in previous seasons. One of the reasons for the boost in home runs, the key to the boom, inconsistencies in seam height. So if you look at the baseball, you know that it's a white ball, but it's got these red seams on it, like the red thread or whatever. Apparently those are also will factor the way that the ball moves or how it's hit or whatever. I have no idea how that works, but like that's what they're saying, that the seams aren't consistent in height, and then that's why that the ball was able to travel so far than previous years. At least I think that they've been using those balls for about like 6 years, I think. And 2019's where they saw like a surge in home runs, and like the long ball was just it was dominating the game. The MLB's balls are hand sewn by workers at the Rawlings factory in Costa Rica, which can result in minor deviations in production. The league requires all balls to have a coefficient or coefficient, I think, of restitution, COR. In simple terms, the bounciness of the ball ranging from 0.530 to 0.570. But the average of COR had trended toward the top of the range in recent years. So those are just like what the details of the ball. They're very confusing. Like I don't really understand how they're gonna do it. I've just like reading upon it, like what people are saying about it. I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to eliminate, I think, home runs. So like what's gonna happen now is I think that if you are a big fan of if you like baseball like I do, and you enjoy the home run, but you also enjoy the small ball, like be runners batted in through a single, a double, a triple, and not always a home run, you like me are going to enjoy it more, I think. Just because I like the purity of baseball, I like the chippiness, the chipping away, the trying to get come back from a lead, being down, 5-2, whatever, and you having to, chip away, get 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, the old-fashioned way. It's old-fashioned baseball. I think what they're trying to go for is like trying to make the game not as, pomp and circumstancy as it has been with the home runs. So they want to, it seems like they want to be able to kind of kill the home run being like the dominant thing about it in baseball, and want to encourage the small ball more. And hopefully, I think that what they want to do is that the players know that the ball is not going to travel as far as they think it will. It will encourage them to bat better, because I know that the league in the past few years has been heavy on home runs and also strikeouts, because a lot of the players and the batters know that they know that they can hit the ball like super high. I don't know if you guys were watching like the World Series with the Houston Astros and the LA Dodgers a few years ago, but like I swear, like there was one game, there was like maybe a total of like 13 home runs hit by each team, I think, maybe more, I'm not sure. but it was like an absurd amount of freaking home runs hit. And I don't know if it was because those balls were juiced or what, but that was just like a bizarre game. The Astros ended up beating the Dodgers, but like, oh man, I remember that game was just it was so bizarre. I had never seen anything like that before in like such a high pressure, high stakes game of pitching and like battling back and forth, and like just people were just hitting these home runs off every single pitcher. And I don't know if the Astros were cheating back then. They probably were, but still, even the Dodgers hit them like nothing. I was just like, wow, man, this is insane. What's happening here? But I think what's going to happen is that if knowing this information of what they're trying to do, I think you're going to get a little bit of a mixed bag of what players think about this. And I think what's going to happen is that people are going to have to adapt to the way the balls are. And they're going to have to adapt to how they can hit the ball and how they can't hit the ball. Because I feel, from what I've read, it should not affect the way the pitcher throws the ball, just how it's being hit, how far it can travel while it's being hit. So hopefully, like, it's not going to be a huge major thing that we'll notice. Hopefully that it'll be like very subtle, very like not as just not a very big change, hopefully. But if it is, I mean, I think what's going to happen is that if you're trying to get into baseball and you're trying to watch baseball and you're not really into it, but you're trying to get into it, this might kill that a bit. And I'm going to tell you why. One, because home runs sell. Home runs are exciting. Home runs are what drives the game. We have a home run derby, by the way. I mean, that's like one of the big things that people like seeing who don't really watch baseball or don't really, pay attention to baseball. They are always, their eyes are just shoot to the screen or shoot to the field whenever somebody hits a ball out of the park or in the stands or whatever. Like, that's always one of the big things that draws eyes to baseball is the home run. And I feel like if you're playing a little bit of a dangerous game, if you want to bring back small ball, and I like I've said, I enjoy small ball. I get annoyed when pitchers just continue to pound the strike zone or fool hitters so badly, and all a hitter knows how to do is hit a home run. But when he can't hit a home run, he strikes out all the time. I don't like that. I think that also bores me. It makes me, especially if my team is losing like that. If we strike out all the time, I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Why are you playing to just hit home runs? You got to play to get on base, hit a single, double, triple, whatever. Do something. Don't just play to get a home run. So I understand. Like, you can tell by, like, with me, I actually like that because that forces the batter to be more strategic with their hitting, to be, work on their hitting more, not just go for the damn home run all the time. Because at times when you rely on the home run, it's gonna dry out. It's not gonna be there forever. It's not gonna be a thing that you should rely on all the time. It's just not. If you do that, then I think that you're really hurting your game, hurting your ability to hit other pitches, hit a damn ball. Like, I know, like, shoot, not even like, okay, Aaron Judge of the Yankees, like he's a monster guy, a monster hitter, monster powerhouse. He hits the ball hard. Home run, home run, home run, home run all the time. But he strikes out so much, and it's so hard to, I don't know, I haven't watched him lately, but like, maybe I didn't watch him much last year, but like the year before that and before that, 2018 and 2019, I think he was on fire. But when he struck out, man, it was bad. It was so bad. It's like they don't know how to get out of that funk. It's like home run or bust. You know what I mean? Like, so hopefully that these balls do that and kind of encourage players to not want to go for the home run all the time, because when they do it and they miss, it's like so embarrassing. It's like, and then it's like, well, how many strikeouts did he get? Oh, he had 3 strikeouts. Like, oh, that's not good. That's not very good. You shouldn't have that many. You got to be able to get on base. And another one is Giancarlo Stanton for the Yankees too. He always hits home runs. I like never see him get on a base, like hit a single, double, whatever. At least the highlights. it's always a home run, which he's very good at, but I never really see him get on base. And it's like, you always see like he had 2 home runs, but like 4 strikeouts or three strikeouts or whatever. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, he did well, I guess, with the home runs, but he also struck out 3 times. What if he doesn't hit a home run? Then he strikes out 5 times. It's just like, you got to pick and choose, man. And it's like, that's how it is with MLB. They know that their game is so, the commissioner of baseball knows that baseball is so precious. It's so American. It's so iconic in America. But they always want to, mess with it. They always want to they brought in replay, these balls. They're changing things up about that. They're trying to get rid of the shift. Just try to make it more exciting because they know that their sport, my favorite sport, is losing in ratings to the NFL and the NBA. It just is. So when I heard the news, I was thinking like, okay, so do they want games to be like lower scoring or more competitive, or what's happening here? Like, I still think that the better team is going to win regardlessly. But if this like gives them a bit of a shot, maybe if they know like, oh, yeah, the ball's not going to fly that far, like, knowing that is just like, is that really going to help you? Is that going to make a worse team play better? Like, I have no idea. Again, like, it hasn't happened yet. The season hasn't began yet, so we'll just wait and see to how that's going to happen, because I think that those 2 ways will happen. It's going to encourage the small ball, which I enjoy. I also like home runs, but I do like the small ball. But it might in the process lose eyes on the league. It might get more bored. Maybe people would not want to see it really. Do we even have a home run derby with those balls? Do we use different balls for the home run derby? I don't even know, man. I have no idea. Because if you use those balls and say, like, there's a hitter that isn't really, is in the later rounds of the home run derby, he's not feeling very good, he's getting tired. And, when I've seen many home run derbies, when they get tired and when they get a little winded, it gets a little dull when they can't hit the ball out of the park. It's like, whoa, man, what's happening? So I think you got to be careful with these balls. I think, again, hopefully the players adapt. The players play more small ball. The players don't complain about the ball all the time. And hopefully that they can adapt well, and hopefully that it'll encourage better hitting. Please, 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 especially for some teams that just strike out all the time. It's just hard to watch, and it makes it not fun. Even though that it might reduce the scoring, it might reduce home runs, I think it'll provide a better quality baseball game. We'll just have to see if the ratings dip or if they rise. I don't think they'll rise, though. I really don't. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. So for the wrap up, let's go to the news. Let's go to the news story of this week. You might be a little bit surprised. You also might not be surprised, but on what I chose for this week. It has to deal with aliens. But I think this might be a little bit more convincing than others. A little bit more convincing, and a little bit more, if I must say, a little bit more concerning of what happened. So there was this flight by American Airlines going from Cincinnati to Phoenix on Sunday, and it was over the northeastern part of New Mexico. Sunday afternoon, the pilot of Flight 2292 radioed around 1 p.m., and he said that there was an unidentified flying object that flew like right on top of them, of their jet. And according to the transmission, which I've listened to, he said that, do you have any targets up here? I heard that. I was like, what do you mean? What does he mean by target? I don't know what that means. He goes on to say, we just had something go right over the top of us, the pilot said in the radio transmission. I'm thinking like, okay, well, I've heard that part of it, and I've heard like him, like his tone doesn't seem like he's lying. He seems like he's telling the truth. He said, I hate to say this, but it looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast. It went right over the top of us. So, I mean, I hear that. I'm like, Well, I mean, I think that if he, I think that's all he said. That's all he was. That's all we have on the recording of the radio call-in. That's all that's been released. And to me, it sounds like that could potentially be a UFO. Potentially. There's also, he doesn't say that there was like a trail of exhaust. He doesn't say anything about that. That would be a big clue. I think he was really shocked of what he saw, that he explained it and everything, and that he saw it, and he was like, whoa, what is that? You know, and I think that this is tough because I think that this might be one of the first radio recordings that we hear that's been about like this topic of like, we don't know what this is. Are you firing missiles or something like that? It doesn't look like a missile. Being recorded by an American Airlines pilot, transporting people airport to airport. And the reason why I think that this is kind of concerning is because what if that plane was hit by this thing? What if the plane, what if the government knew about this thing and it was in the area and they still allowed the flight to go? They could easily have canceled the flight if they said like bad weather, turbulence or whatever. They could have taken a different route. And like, imagine if that thing hits the airplane goes down from nobody knows why it went down, right? And everybody on the plane is dead. Then what happens? Like, what are we thinking? Like, since we have this recording of what this pilot said, we should be allowed to know. Like, these pilots are supposed to know what is in that airspace, what is around them that they're flying into. Because if you don't know what's out there in the air, whether it be a plane or a helicopter, drone, whatever, you're potentially putting those pilots and those passengers at risk of dying because you don't know what's out there. So if something went bad, then there would be a big hoopla on it. Like, what do we do? People just died. Did we know that something was out there? What if they had that recording and then they died? Then they got in a collision with that thing. Then that would be even worse because it's like, wow, like, did we really just throw those guys out there to die? Did we know about this? Did anybody know about this? This is a big story, man, but nobody's really talking about it because like there was a potential potential UFO sighting, right? This pilot sounded like he was very genuine when he said it, like he didn't know what it was. He sounded confused. He sounded worried. He sounded like, wow, I hate to say it, but it was like this. Like he was thinking like, when I'm flying, like people always ask me, do you see a UFO? Whatever. He sounded like he was annoyed of like saying like, oh, if you see flying saucers. And then the fact that he says, I hate to say it, but I saw this object and it looked like a cylindrical. I was like, or like a cylinder, like, oh boy. He's thinking like, I'm seeing it now. Now I have to say it because I've seen it. And it's like, bro, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I wouldn't even know what to do in that situation. Like, if you're the government, what do you do? If you're the FBI, what do? You got to comment on this. You have to comment. Because you have to acknowledge that, like, you need to let people know that you know about this thing. Because apparently if it was right on top of them, now there's no video of it, and we don't know, he hasn't specified how far it was from them. He just said right on top of them. I'm thinking it's got to be at least like 100 yards, or not 100 yards, like maybe a few thousand feet. I'm not saying like it's like right there, like mere feet away, but it's got to be like at least a few thousand feet where he can visibly see it and like say, what the hell is that? And then it zipped right by them and, that was it. The weird thing is like it's on top of them. So is it tracking them? Did it react to the radio transmission? Did it react to like him, like the plane noticing it? Maybe it shifted courses. I don't know. But if it is, like the one of the big keys in these sightings, these videos, like in a good example is like the encounter with David Fravor in 2004 on the USS Nimitz, the coast of San Diego. He said that when they were intercepting it, it's a small like tic tac thing that's going across the radar or the screen of the camera. He said that when it was like they were going towards it, that the thing reacted to them going towards it, and then went in I think a different direction, or mimicked the maneuvers that the jets were doing. So it's like, well, if this thing is reacting to what you are doing, then it can't really be nothing. It can't really be like a radar flare or light flare or some stupid thing that everybody says. Like, it can't be that if it's reacting to what he's doing, right? So in this instance, there isn't much more on this. There's I know that the FAA knows about it. American Airlines knows about it. They confirmed it, and I'm just scrolling here. TMZ, as much as you want to trust them or not, they say that the FBI is aware of the pilot sighting, so maybe they'll come out in a statement that just came out today, so I don't know if it's going to be more on it, but I think that we've got to have this information soon, and it's got to be right. It's got to be right, because if these airline pilots are now seeing these, like, I know military's one thing, right? Like a fighter jet will see it on a mission, on practicing, or I don't know, training, whatever, they'll see it. David Fravor is one of the examples. But now if the freaking airline pilots are seeing it, then it's a little bit weird, because then that's getting a little too close for comfort for me, because now that they're in the airspace of air travel, where there's people on board, what if something happens? What if they're flying too close to the freaking airplane? That pilot reacts badly. He crashes. They've got to be aware of what's in that airspace, man. They got to be aware of it, because if they're not, then they could have accidents. And if you have accidents and then there's people that die, then you got to answer for that, because the people died. You have to answer for it. So hopefully we can get some answers. Hopefully this gets picked up more in the news, because this is a big thing, I think. This is a real big thing. I think that this is this might have been like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, hey, this is getting a little weird. This is getting a little too close. You need to spill some evidence. You need to tell us what's up. What's out there? What do you got? Whether it be aliens, whether it be new technology, a new drone, whatever. You got to tell us what's up there, man. Because now it's getting a little too close. Now you're getting a little... You think you could just pull over a blanket and be like, oh, we're going to be so secretive. Nobody takes UFOs so seriously anymore. I mean, obviously, because this story isn't going around everywhere. It's not. It's like pretty much below what's happening now. It's like, this should be at the top. If this airline pilot has claimed that he saw a UFO type shaped object, and it was so fast, and they didn't confirm any missile testing, missile launches, nothing, then what is it then? You got to tell us, because now you're putting other people's lives at danger if you know what's happening and you're not telling anybody about it to avoid it. Then it's just like, what's happening? So I expect a little bit of an explanation. I don't think that we'll get it, but can't wait for June 30th, man. Cannot wait. If you don't know, June 30th was the day that they're supposed to release, the Pentagon is supposed to release information that they know about the unidentified flying objects to the public. It was signed in one of the COVID relief bills back in 2020. And that is supposed to be the absolute day that they release the information. Now, they've had documents released on the internet where you could read them. You can go through them. They're very hard to go through, because a lot of them are illegible, so it kind of sucks. But hopefully that when June 30th comes, we'll have some answers, because now, with this information now, with this American Airlines pilot, this might prompt them to do it faster. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe we'll get some information, because this is getting a little weird. It's getting a little bit weirder. Whether it be aliens or new technology, whatever, we have to know what this is. Gotta know what it is, man. It's just like, now you're affecting us. It's like, come on, man. First of all, you affected jet fighter pilots. Now you're gonna affect airline pilots? No, nah. You gotta spill the beans on here. We gotta know what's happening. We gotta know what's in the skies. We gotta know what's out there. No more of this cloak and dagger, beating behind the bush stuff. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. I don't like it. Well, that was the news. Today, aliens popping up potentially. Little bit of MLB stuff. The future of movies. Dining at a restaurant. Being nice to waiters. We went all over the place today. All over today. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you did. I hope you stuck around for the episode. The entire episode, that is. I hope you did. And it was a lot of fun. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube and listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I really appreciate it. If you would do a big favor to like and share on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. On Apple Podcasts, if you scroll down, you can go to it says rate and review. You can rate it with a star rating and leave a review. I would greatly appreciate that so much. Once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.